Alright, what's going on guys? Gina checking back in for another video today. And since it's now 2020, first of all, Happy New Year. I'm going to be giving you guys 7 of the biggest muscle building mistakes that happen quite often and can actually prevent you from building muscle mass and making progress in the gym. There is a lot more that comes to it than simply just going to the gym and lifting weights. There are a lot of things that you have to keep in mind when it comes to your nutrition, your training, your exercise execution, how you plan your workouts, how you plan your entire training schedule or your training routine, and so forth. And there are a lot of people who just skip out on these fundamental aspects when it comes to building muscle, which is a shame because it can seriously hurt your gains. So without further ado, the first biggest muscle building mistake, and that's actually the biggest one in general, is simply not eating enough. Now this one can often be divided into two camps. You have the people that are simply afraid to eat enough, and there are the people who simply don't track their calories, and those are the people that often think that they are eating enough, but in reality when they actually track their calories for a day, they realize that they're simply under eating and are way below their caloric maintenance, which is even further away from a caloric surplus. So for the people who are afraid of eating enough, simply do a lean bulk. This means that you're only eating 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance, which allows you to build lean muscle mass and prevent or minimize the amount of body fat that you're going to be gaining. There is no way that you can absolutely prevent gaining body fat because it's just part of the game when it comes to building muscle mass and being in a bulk. But if you eat a lot more calories above your maintenance, the majority of that weight gain is going to be going towards fat storage, and this is something that most of you most likely don't want. So the easiest solution is just to stay 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance and just stay there until you notice that your weight gain is slowing down, and then you can just up the calories by 100. Keep track of your progress and make minor adjustments when it's necessary. And for the people who are not tracking their calories, I highly recommend you to download the app MyFitnessPal or any other calorie tracking app. Keep track of your food for a week and see what your weight does on the amount of calories that you're eating while you're tracking them. Especially for the beginners, you cannot always simply get away by eating a lot, alright? It's very important to have an adequate understanding of how many calories you're eating and what you're putting in your body to allow yourself to get the proper knowledge and feeling on how to eat in order to build muscle mass. Track your calories, track your macros, be in a caloric surplus, 200 to 300 calories, and you will be on your way to at least fuel yourself enough to build muscle mass. The second biggest muscle building mistake is not eating enough protein. Now again, this can obviously be easily fixed by just tracking the amount of protein that you're eating, since you can obviously just eat multiple protein sources per day. But if you don't know exactly how much protein are in those individual meals, it could just be that you are way below your actual protein goal. Now the general guideline for protein intake is to be at 1 gram per pound of body weight or 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. Now this is just a general guideline, right? There are a lot of experts in the field that claim that you should or can eat more than 1 gram per pound of body weight, and there are also a lot of experts in the field that claim that you should or can eat less than 1 gram per pound of body weight. Alright, so just pick the safest one and eat 1 gram per pound of body weight in protein. But that is not the only thing that you should be taking in mind when it comes to eating protein. The protein sources that you're eating should also be high quality and have enough leucine to actually spike muscle protein synthesis, which also comes down to the third biggest muscle building mistake, which is not spreading out your meals evenly. If you skip back a couple of years, you will hear a lot of people claiming that meal timing is not important. And while it is not the most important aspect to building muscle, it definitely starts playing a role when it comes to building muscle mass effectively. When you look at the muscle protein synthesis process, it's very clearly visible that each time that you eat protein, it gives a spike in muscle protein synthesis. Muscle protein synthesis is just basically the process where your muscles are recovering and growing after your workout, in which they are sensitized to protein intake. And since it gives a spike each time that you eat protein, you are keeping your body and your muscles in an anabolic environment, which means that they are better able to recover and grow. The easiest way of approaching this is just to think in protein feedings, right? So in general, you should be aiming for around 3 to 5 protein feedings per day, which allows you to then spike muscle protein synthesis more frequently throughout the day and get the most bang for your buck when it comes to your recovery and growth. But the second reason that meal timing is also pretty important is because you can use it to actually boost your performance in the gym. If you have a high carb, low to moderate fat and moderate to high protein meal before working out and after working out, you're ensuring that you have enough protein and amino acids in your body to fuel the workout, promote recovery, and to make sure that your body is staying in an anabolic environment to promote hypertrophy. The fourth biggest muscle building mistake is not chasing progressive overload. If you go into the gym and you do the same thing over and over again, you cannot expect your muscles to grow. Your muscles need a bigger stimulus over time, which you should be providing them with in order to promote hypertrophy. Each time that you go into the gym and you work out, you're creating micro tears in your muscles. Your muscles will then repair those micro tears, obviously coming from the protein, the amino acids that you are putting in your body, and your muscles then see it as a goal to not have that same muscle damage again. But of course you want your muscles to grow, so it is then up to you to utilize progressive overload. And the easiest way to do that is a mix of three things, which basically comes down to upping the volume. You can add some extra weight to your lifts, you can add some reps to your sets, or you can increase the sets that you're doing, up to a certain amount before it becomes too much. You should obviously approach this pretty linearly, since you cannot simply just add 20 kilograms to the bar and expect that you'll be able to get the same or more reps. Slow and steady wins the race. So the easiest way to approach this is to just add the smallest increment of weight possible whenever you've hit a certain amount of reps with a certain amount of weight, or stick to the same weight and try to add an extra rep or two each week in order to promote progressive overload. And the third option is to increase the amount of sets that you're doing. The best way to approach this is to just start off with a low amount of sets and then allowing yourself to gradually build up in sets until you're at a point where you can still recover from the amount of volume that you're doing. So starting off at your minimum effective volume, which is most likely around 10 sets, and building up to around 20 to 22 sets per week, which is either your maximum adaptive volume or your maximal recoverable volume. The fifth biggest muscle building mistake is not training your muscles frequently enough. Please leave the bro split in 2019. The reason that you should be training your muscles more frequently throughout the week is for two major reasons. The muscle protein synthesis process lasts for about 48 to 72 hours. So that means that if you train, for example, your chest, shoulders and your triceps on Monday, you're basically ready to go again on Wednesday. So that means that if you only train your muscles once per week, you're missing out on almost an entire week of progress. And on the flip side, if you train your muscles 2 to 3 times per week, you can plan it out in a way that you're constantly putting your muscles in that recovering and growing state. The second reason that you should be training your muscles more frequently throughout the week is that you can distribute your volume evenly throughout the week. As I just mentioned, there is a volume threshold that you should be meeting in order to make effective progress. And that is somewhere between minimum effective volume, which is approximately around 10 sets per week, and maximum adaptive volume or maximum recoverable volume, which is around 20 to 26 sets per week. And if you have to cram all of that volume into one session, you are not going to be able to recover properly enough and get the most out of that volume, since halfway down the workout, you're most likely going to be fatigued. So by spreading out that volume evenly throughout the week, you're allowing the volume that you have in all of those workouts to be extremely effective. The sixth biggest muscle building mistake is not taking deloads, or not frequently enough. Now I know that deloads are a tricky subject, especially when you're trying to build muscle mass, but there is no way that we can just always keep on making linear progress, right? Eventually you will have to take a little step back, which is called a deload. Now a deload simply means that you're taking a week in order to recover from all of the intense workouts that you have been doing throughout your training cycle by lowering the total amount of volume that you're doing. The easiest way to approach this, in my opinion, which is something that I always utilize myself, is I put my working weight, which is the amount of weight that I normally use on all of my working sets, at 70%. And all of the exercises that I perform 4 sets, I start doing 3 sets, and I stick to the bottom of the rep range which I prescribe for myself. So if the rep range is 10 to 15 reps, I'm sticking to just 10 reps. Avoid failure at all costs. Just simply allow your body to relax, allow your central nervous system to recover from the intense workouts that you have been doing, and then once the deload is over, build your weights up gradually again, and then you should most likely be ending up with heavier weights or more volume. This is especially important for long-term progression, since you're just taking one step back to allow yourself to take 2 steps forward. Right, and then the 7th biggest muscle building mistake is not paying attention to your form. You can lift all the weight in the world, but if you're not putting your muscles on the proper tension, you're literally just moving weight from A to B. And if you're trying to build muscle mass, it is not the goal to just move the most amount of weight possible. If you're a powerlifter, great, that is essentially the goal, move as much weight from point A to B. But if you're a bodybuilder or focused on building muscle mass, you need to focus on putting your muscles under tension. So just be mindful of if you're actually feeling the muscles work during the exercise that you're doing, and if not, I highly recommend you to just put your phone somewhere and record yourself doing an exercise, or just ask your gym buddy or someone in the gym to film a set for you, and be honest with yourself if you're actually performing your exercises correctly. If you're in this for the long run, you do not want to run into injuries, so having proper form is extremely important. Alright, so those are the 7 biggest muscle building mistakes that are preventing you from building muscle mass. I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed the video and got some value from it. By the way, I'm hosting a 12-week transformation challenge in which I will be giving away 200 euros to the winner of the transformation challenge, along with a second and third prize. So in case you guys are interested, I will be leaving the link in the description so that you can apply and get in the best shape of your life in 2020. And potentially walk away with a cash prize. That is it for this video, guys. I sincerely hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to smash the like button because it truly helps out the channel grow. Comment down below and subscribe to the channel and turn post notifications on for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out, guys, and peace out. See you in the next one.